Donald Trump, who served as the 45th President of the United States from 2017 to 2021, announced his campaign for a non-consecutive second presidential term in the 2024 U.S. presidential election on November 15, 2022. After he won a landslide victory in the 2024 Iowa Republican presidential caucuses, Trump was generally described as being the Republican Party's presumptive nominee for president, with the process of consolidation then underway. He was officially nominated on July 15, 2024 at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, when he also announced JD Vance, the junior U.S. Senator from Ohio, as the nominee for vice president and campaign partner. Trump then accepted his nomination during the final day of the convention on July 18. If elected into office, Trump will become the oldest president in American history and the second to serve a non-consecutive term after Grover Cleveland. Trump has campaigned on vastly expanding the authority of the executive branch over the federal government. This would be accomplished through the imposition of the Jacksonian spoils system, and directing the U.S. Department of Justice to go after domestic political enemies. Other campaign issues include, implementing anti-immigrant policies and a massive deportation operation, pursuing an isolationist America First foreign policy agenda, repealing and replacing the Affordable Care Act, pursuing a climate change denial and anti-clean energy platform, terminating the Department of Education, implementing anti-LGBT policies, and pursuing what has been described as a neo-mercantilist trade agenda. Beginning as early as Veterans Day in November 2023, Trump leaned into violent and authoritarian rhetoric throughout his campaign. Trump has increasingly used dehumanizing and violent rhetoric against his political enemies. His 2024 campaign has been identified as leaning into nativist and anti-transgender rhetoric. The Trump campaign has been noted for its close connections to the Heritage Foundation, which produced Project 2025, a playbook criticized as an attempt for Trump to become a dictator and a path leading the United States towards autocracy, with several experts in law criticizing it for violating current constitutional laws that would undermine the rule of law and the separation of powers. Trump has denied affiliation with Project 2025, calling some of the proposals absolutely ridiculous and seriously extreme. The campaign is unfolding as Trump faces the legal aftermath of 4 criminal indictments filed against him in 2023, as well as a civil investigation of the Trump Organization in New York. The campaign has continued to promote false claims that the former 2020 election was stolen, and comes in the wake of Trump's unprecedented attempts to overturn the 2020 United States presidential election and its culmination in the January 6 United States Capitol attack, described by many as an attempted coup d'état or self-coup. Trump has publicly embraced the January 6 attack, and has promised to pardon those charged for their involvement in the attack. On May 30, 2024, Trump was convicted of all 34 felony counts for business fraud related to hush money paid to porn star Stormy Daniels in an attempt to influence the 2016 presidential election. He is the first former U.S. president in history to be convicted of a crime. On July 13, 2024, Trump survived an attempted assassination by Thomas Matthew Crooks, who shot at Trump and injured the top of his right ear at a 2024 presidential campaign rally near Butler, Pennsylvania. Trump, the incumbent president, unsuccessfully sought election to a second term in the 2020 United States presidential election, losing to Democratic nominee Joe Biden, who obtained an electoral vote of 306 to Trump's 232. Trump also lost the popular vote by 7 million votes. He refused to concede the loss and claimed that the election was stolen. Trump and his allies in 7 key states then allegedly devised a plot to create and submit fraudulent certificates of ascertainment that falsely asserted Trump had won the Electoral College vote in those states. The intent was to pass the fraudulent certificates to Mike Pence to count them rather than the authentic certificates and overturn Joe Biden's victory. Trump reportedly had been considering a 2024 presidential run immediately after his loss in the election if the plot failed to work out. In the week of November 9, 2020, Trump indicated to Republican Party Senator Kevin Cramer, "If this doesn't work out, "I'll just run again in 4 years." 63. Later, a group of Trump's supporters attacked the United States Capitol building to prevent the election results from being certified. With 1 week remaining in his presidency, Trump was impeached by the House of Representatives for incitement of insurrection for his actions during the January 6, 2021, Capitol Hill attack, but was acquitted in the Senate with a bipartisan 57-43 vote in favor of conviction, which fell short of the two-thirds supermajority, 67 out of 100 senators, required. In December 2021, CNN reported that Trump's wait-and-see approach to the 2024 election has frozen the next Republican presidential primary, with potential challengers keeping their heads down while awaiting Trump's official decision on the matter. In July 2022, as the public hearings of the House Select Committee on the January 6 attack were progressing, Trump was reportedly considering making an early announcement of his 2024 candidacy. On July 14, 2022, Intelligencer published an interview with Trump, based upon which they reported that Trump had already made up his mind, and was just deciding when to declare. Following the August 2022 FBI search of Mar-a-Lago, many of Trump's allies urged that he announce his candidacy sooner, including some who had previously advised that he defer an announcement until after the midterm elections. During a rally in Iowa in the run-up to the 2022 United States midterm elections, Trump stated, "In order to make our country successful and safe and glorious, I will very, very, very probably do it again," indicating that he might announce his candidacy soon thereafter, prompting speculation that he would announce as soon as the week of November 14, 2022. After months of speculation, Trump announced his candidacy for president in a November 15, 2022, speech to supporters at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. His announcement received wide media coverage and a mixed response from both Democrats and Republicans. Some Democrats warily welcomed the campaign, viewing Trump as beatable, while others opposed it, citing negative effects it could have on U.S. democracy. Some Republicans, consisting mostly of Trump loyalists, welcomed the campaign, while others, including many Republican elected officials, opposed it, viewing Trump as a weak and beatable candidate who had cost the Republicans the past several election cycles. In August 2023, Trump was indicted separately both by the federal government and the state of Georgia on numerous criminal conspiracy and fraud charges he is alleged to have committed along with co-conspirators during efforts to illegally change and overturn the results of the lost 2020 presidential election. The indictments allege that Trump engaged in a criminal conspiracy to illegally alter the results of the 2020 election via fraudulent electors in the Trump fake electors plot, as well as pressuring government officials to illegally change vote tallies during incidents such as the Trump-Raffensperger phone call. Prior to these indictments on charges relating to attempts to overturn the 2020 United States presidential election, on March 30, 2023, Trump was also indicted for 34 felony counts of fraud stemming from his alleged role in falsifying business records related to hush money payments made to pornographic film actress Stormy Daniels during his 2016 U.S. presidential election campaign. Trump called his indictment political persecution and election interference. Later, on June 8, Trump was indicted by a federal grand jury for allegedly improperly retaining classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago residence and destroying evidence related to the government probe. In addition to the 4 criminal indictments brought against Trump in Georgia, Washington, Florida, and New York, on May 9, Trump was found liable in a civil lawsuit for sexual abuse and defamation against journalist E. Jean Carroll. Trump said that he will appeal the decision, describing it to be unconstitutional silencing and political persecution. On May 30, 2024, Trump was convicted of 34 felonies related to hush money paid to porn star Stormy Daniels in an attempt to influence the 2016 presidential election. He is the first former U.S. president to be convicted of a crime in American history. On November 15, 2022, Trump announced his candidacy at Mar-a-Lago in an hour-long speech. The announcement came 1 week after the 2022 midterm elections, in which Trump-endorsed candidates underperformed non-Trump endorsed candidates. His announcement speech had at least 20 false and misleading claims, uttering the first inaccurate claim about 2 minutes in and a few minutes later, ticking off at least 4 hyperbolic claims about his own accomplishments. The New York Times fact-check stated that Mr. Trump repeated many familiar exaggerations about his own achievements, reiterated misleading attacks on political opponents, and made dire assessments that were at odds with reality. The New York Post mocked Trump's announcement by relegating it to page 26 and noting it on the cover with a banner reading "Florida Man Makes Announcement." The article referred to Mar-a-Lago as Trump's classified documents library in reference to the ongoing investigation regarding Trump's alleged improper handling of classified materials, which he had brought to Mar-a-Lago following his presidency for as yet unclear reasons. The announcement was attended by comedian Alex Stein, consultant Roger Stone, businessman Mike Lindell, outgoing Representative Madison Cawthorn, RNC, former Deputy Director of the Office of Management and Budget Russell Vought, political advisor Jason Miller, attorney Kash Patel, political analyst Sebastian Gorka, and political aide Hogan Gidley. The insider noted many members of Congress were not in attendance, including Matt Gaetz. Family members who attended included Trump's wife and former First Lady Melania, Trump's sons Barron and Eric, Eric's wife Laura, and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner. His daughters Ivanka and Tiffany did not attend the announcement party. Ivanka said she would not be engaging in politics going forward and would not be a part of her father's presidential bid. Trump's son Donald Trump Jr. also did not attend. Stan Fitzgerald, president of Veterans for America First, attended. On July 13, 2024, Trump survived an assassination attempt at a rally near Butler, Pennsylvania, when his right ear was grazed by a gunshot. He was escorted out of the venue by United States Secret Service. The shooter, identified by the FBI as Thomas Matthew Crooks, was shot and killed by the Secret Service. The questions of Trump's eligibility to run for president in 2024 are delineated by the U.S. Constitution. 2 amendments addressing this issue are the 14th and 22nd Amendments. On the one hand, some scholars have argued, although Trump has been indicted multiple times, neither the indictments nor any resulting convictions would render him ineligible for the office. On the other hand, conservative, originalist scholars have argued that Trump is ineligible because Section 3 of the 14th Amendment applies. On December 19, 2023, the Colorado Supreme Court ruled that Trump was disqualified from holding office and that his name must be removed from the Colorado Republican primary ballot. Trump's campaign said that he would appeal the decision to the U.S. Supreme Court. On December 28, 2023, Maine's Secretary of State banned Trump from Maine's Republican primary ballot. The Trump campaign said that they would appeal the decision in Maine state courts, and the Secretary of State suspended the ruling until the court's decision. On March 4, 2024, the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Colorado's Supreme Court ruling, saying that states do not have the authority to disqualify Trump or other candidates from federal elections under the 14th Amendment's Insurrection Clause. On November 19, 2022, Elon Musk, 4 weeks after taking ownership of Twitter, reinstated both Trump's personal account and Trump's campaign account, nearly 2 years after Trump was permanently banned from the platform by previous Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey, due to Twitter's glorification of violence and civic integrity policies, following the January 6 United States Capitol attack. National primary polling showed Trump leading by 50 points over other candidates during the Republican primaries. After he won a landslide victory in the 2024 Iowa Republican presidential caucuses, Trump was generally described as being the Republican Party's presumptive nominee for president. On March 12, 2024, Trump officially became the presumptive nominee of the Republican Party. Mike Pence served as Trump's vice president from 2017 to 2021, with Pence having been Trump's chosen running mate in both the 2016 and 2020 elections. In March 2021, Bloomberg News reported that if Trump runs again in 2024, Pence likely won't be on the ticket and that Trump had discussed alternatives to Pence, while Trump's advisors have discussed identifying a black or female running mate for his next run. In April 2021, Trump indicated that he was considering Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for the position, noting his friendship with him. He later criticized and ridiculed DeSantis, who launched his own presidential campaign on May 24, 2023. In June 2022, a former aide testified that Trump had opined to his staff during the Capitol Hill attack that Pence deserved the chance of hang Mike Pence made by the rioters. However, on a Truth Social post, Trump denied that he said Pence deserved to be hanged. In July, at the 2024 Republican National Convention, JD Vance, RO, was announced as Trump's running mate. Vance is the first Ohioan to appear on a major party presidential ticket since John Bricker, Thomas Dewey's running mate in 1944, the first person to have facial hair since Dewey himself, in his 1948 upset loss as presidential nominee, and the first veteran since John McCain in 2008, all of whom were Republicans. If elected, he would be the first Ohio native to be elected to the vice presidency since Charles Dawes in 1924, the first to have facial hair since Charles Curtis in 1928, both of whom were Republicans, and the first veteran since Al Gore in 1992. He was also the first Mil-Nile, Marine veteran, and veteran of the Iraq War and the wider War on Terror on a presidential ticket. Thank you for watching this video.